Welcome back. It's been a minute since we've talked. Corona had a huge, wave there. So we took a break from filming, but now we're back and we're Black. And this is our show where your favorite two Black women of Mankato talk to you and you listen. I wanted to kind of update everyone on what we've been doing for the past couple months here since we haven't been filming. I know during this time we had the vote with the school board on removing school resource officers. So I'd definitely like to hear more about the results, the process, how you feel, and kind of what's next for Ignite the Youth and with Stand Up. So Anisa, what was your experience like with going through the process, the board, vote, and all of that? So let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So the last time we ended up filming, we were nearing the end of our organizing to remove police from Mankato area schools. We were able to successfully get one removed from the middle school. However, the two high school ones are still going to remain, and they made minor changes like setting up an advisory board, and officers aren't going to be wearing uniforms, which I think has harmful effects, but we can get to that later. But honestly, my experience organizing here in the Mankato area community, here in the Mankato area public school system, it was traumatizing and it was draining, and it felt like it was us and a group of young individuals just organizing on our own. A lot of the leadership that is in Mankato kind of left us to fend for ourselves.
Yes.
And so it was isolating, trying to navigate that on our own, but it was also amazing to have my community there to support and being able to teach young students how to organize within the school system, because we were able to have student ambassadors join us on our mission.
Yeah.
But it really was eye-opening to see, who really likes to do the nitty-gritty work and who just is all talk. Or, all talk kind of.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that experience, and kind of just being a newcomer, obviously, with the George Floyd murder kind of sparked my, my part in organizing. And I just, in the very beginning, I think maybe I was naive, and, being young Black women who have this passion and this need and this sense of duty to do these things because it is our life. It's our life's on the line, it's a life or death situation. So it's a lot of our passion, a lot of our emotional labor involved in this work. And by the end of the summer, I felt used. I felt not taken care of like I should have. And it was really disappointing to see that we did have so-called leaders of the community that, the same 10 people that everyone goes to, and yet we were put on the back burner when we really needed mentorship, we needed support, we needed financial support, because these organizations are the ones that get funding. They get funding from the public safety department. They get funding from, the community and from these grants and, things like that. And it's like, we have the youthness of the movement. We have more radical and progressive ideas. And this is the change that we need right now, are those perspectives. And what we saw was pushback. And we saw that, yes, your ideas are good, but not good enough, or not gonna win the folks over who are comfortable sitting in their complacency and, all those things. And so it was really disappointing to, feel like, oh, I'm doing this thing. I'm making a change and getting, fake support from these people. And then to not only, maybe steal our ideas or take what we've brought to the table and then take their resources and, execute them because they have the means to do it, but rather than bringing us to the table and making a seat for us instead of us trying to make the seat for ourselves.
Or offering us seats at the table, thinking we're just complacent and happy to be at the table.
Right.
And when we express our ideas and when we express our concerns and we directly go against the status quo, we were quickly removed.
Oh, yeah. With the quickness.
I can say that word. Sufficiently removed from organizing. And that was when it was that's how Ignite the Youth actually was formulated. Yeah. I'm not going to be begging for seats at the table. And how these own organizations who are ran by Black and brown individuals are upholding and uplifting systems of white supremacy, patriarchy, xenophobia, being told that I'm not Black enough, or that this isn't my fight. It was honestly eye-opening. and traumatizing to receive hate on both ends,
Right.
and how both ends utilize the same form of hate against you.
Yeah. It was definitely one of the most traumatizing things that I've gone through, because not only are we dealing with seeing Black death constantly in the media and feeling like we're hopeless constantly, like to then have people that we thought were our supporters to just kind of like brush us off or just leave us out for dead pretty much. And we had to figure it out on our own. And I'm really like honestly proud of you for being able to accomplish what you even did, you know, and you were amazingly, like, so people were noticing because you were featured in a PBS documentary. What was your experience like with that? Like,
it was like a self-filmed docuseries, and it was nice. I was like, okay, so I was finishing up my final semester. I was organizing and I was filming. So at the time, I was like, oh my God, this is just too much. So I wasn't really enjoying the process at that time or really taking it in because I had so much going on. But once I saw the finished product, I was like, wow.
It was amazing. It turned out so amazing. They caught me slipping with my Pringles.
Not the Pringles.
But, you know, I was really excited to watch you grow throughout that process. And even though you weren't, like, equipped with how to film a docuseries, like, you made it happen and the results were amazing and people are noticing what you're doing. So, like, even if we feel like we don't have the support of the people that we think we need support from, we do have our community that we've created here. Like, just having this platform now, like through Triple Falls, like our guys, Willis and Jacob, like from the jump, we're there live streaming every single day that we were out there for George Floyd.
And even, you know what I noticed is that even the Black and brown individuals who removed us from the committee or from organizing spaces, they had social capital, but what we were able to do is build political power. And they were kind of just at that social capital. Like, yeah, you're well known, but it's like you're not making much movement. And so it was very nice to see what you did this summer and build your own form of political power. You did that and assisting me with Ignite the Youth because you were really showing up at those schools. Like, I'm ready to talk.
Yes, because, you know, like, we needed more of the youth perspective. We have these bright ideas and we envision a world without systemic racism, without all these systems that...
And without hierarchy.
Yeah.
Because most of these systems are like...
And that's what it's
if
about.
you haven't been doing this for so-and-so years, like, this is not where you need to be talking, but more so, how can we build each other up? Yeah, you've been here for a few months, or, yeah, you've only been here for a few years, but, like, your ideas are still needed.
Right.
It's like, I don't care how long an individual has been at that place. It's like, how do we bring fresh ideas? Like, I hate that hierarchy. Like, I've been doing this for 40, 30 years, and you're just here for, what, 20 years or 15 years or, like, a few years. So it's like...
And it's like, why wouldn't you, in your position that you're in, like, after a while, you know, you become complacent or you grow. And a lot of people who are in those positions, they settle. And
or they're on a PR marketing thing.
Exactly.
It's like, and how do I build my status during all this traumatizing thing? Like, how, if you're too busy trying to build your own social capital and like, babes, this isn't your fight.
No,
Like,
and it's, you know, that's not what we're in it for. Like, we're in it for actual, you know, tangible change. And a lot of people either aren't ready for it or they're not willing to bring new people into the picture and not willing to pay us for the work that we
or acknowledge the harm that they cause. But instead gaslight.
Oh yeah, they love to gaslight. Like, yeah. And I just, like, I applaud both of us, honestly, because you were in your last semester when, you know, the board voting was coming up, and I was in my last semester finishing my thesis the week of George Floyd's death, and I was like, that's what jump-started my thing. And it's just like, I don't know, I'm kind of just excited for what we have next. And, like, what are your thoughts of, like, what we can start doing again now that, you know, like, we kind of are on hiatus with winter, like, it's just not worth kind of, like, going outside and doing those types of things. But, like, now that it's starting to get nicer, I do want to get back out there and, you know, make some more movements out there, especially with the trial coming up, you know.
When you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'll be there. Yeah. But honestly, yeah, that's...
What are your, like, next steps, do you think Ignite the Youth is going? Like, what do you think is, you know, are you going to be more involved with it or trying to, like, encourage the younger students who are still in the system to kind of, like, you know, get their own power and, you know, make change?
Well, right now, our plan for that is to get the young students more up there and prepare for the change and to continue the fight of removing SROs from schools.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm very much concentrated in studying for the LSAT, so that's
Yes, you
taken over
are.
my entire life. So I'm not as involved in the organizing aspect. But yeah, it's just letting the younger individuals take over. I know a few of the individuals that were organizing with us are now on the advisory committee, so it's like our voice is still there
Still
and
present,
prevalent.
yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
so
awesome. I'm excited for you to become a
right.
lawyer. Like
I'm not a lawyer.
yes, girl. We need more
I'm
like
joking.
you out there fighting the good fight. And sometimes we do have to work through the system, honestly, to tear it down. And I know that you're gonna make a vital move
Not
in
through
that.
the system. I don't know if I can go that far.
Yes, you can. You
No,
absolutely
no. Like
can.
I mean, like I don't know if I can sell my soul that far to go through the
Right.
system or kind of tear the system down. That's where I'm like the hang
Yeah.
up. But we'll see where I end up.
Yeah. Well, knowledge is power, and you're definitely, making more moves for yourself. And I'm
Right.
really excited to see what you do next.
I'm
I'm
super excited for our
Yeah.
time here. I miss this.
I
It's
know
been a
it's been
minute. It's like
such a long time. Like I feel like we were definitely nervous, coming into it, but it just felt like we were
right,
doing this every day, like we used to.
right.
Did you want to answer any of our
Yeah, we
questions?
actually had an email come in before we shut down filming,
Mm-hmm.
which I think kind of relates to the topic we're on now. And so it's asking us to expand on stolen activism and stolen organizing. And you mentioned briefly how you experienced that,
Mm-hmm.
but also maybe just expand on it a little bit.
Sure. I mean, like over the summer, just kind of falling into a leadership role, I wanted to do more for the community, engage the community in a more profound way.
Mhm.
And some of my ideas were to, engage the community in these conversations about police states and what they do for the community. What are their jobs? Like, how can we, manipulate the system or change how we use police in our communities, or what resources we can invest more money or more time into rather than relying on the police all the time.
Right.
And I wanted to do kind of an educational series on that. And and I reached out to other folks, and other, organizations had reached out to me also to help implement my ideas. And I just kind of felt like pushed out of it once we got like kind of the ball rolling. And even though I am, happy that they were able to achieve what I, had thought of, it would have been nice to be more included in that.
Mhm.
And it's just, I don't know, it just has felt really discouraging for me because,
Mhm.
starting out, I was really excited about it and not only nervous for putting my life out there and life in danger, I was still motivated to try and like kind of just, I went off the deep end and just went straight into it. And I really needed support. And so it kind of felt really discouraging,
Right.
throughout the whole process. So I've definitely taken a lot of time for myself. And I think, um, you know, trying not to give into the pressure of organizing. I feel like Black women definitely have that pressure to, overextend themselves
Mm.
more often than not to either, show up for the community, and or the community's relying on them to, okay, what are you going to do next? And, I think it's important for us to take our time with
Mhm.
it because we are just one person.
And
And
heal, because organizing
yeah,
takes so much out of you.
yeah,
Like you go to areas you've never been before, and
hmm,
it literally is taxing.
yeah.
And so you need time to kind of
Yeah,
get yourself
I needed
together,
that. I needed a break for
right? And you
sure
deserve
after the
it,
summer because
honestly.
I was not only still trying to process all of the emotions of it, but just the experience with, organizing with the community here, and then also to feel like that pressure of like, okay, I need to be doing more. Like, what else can I be doing? And that feeling of helplessness again. And I was just like, I'm barely even healing from what transpired, and now the trials happened. Like, it's all
Mm.
full circle again, and I still don't feel ready or don't feel,
You haven't processed it or
yeah. So,
unpacked it.
hmm,
And honestly, what you mentioned, it's like taking Black women's ideas and then leaving the Black woman behind or the Black woman voice out of it. The
it's
stolen ideas that
the
happen in
same old
organizing
song.
spaces all the time.
Yeah, it's the same old song, and it's gonna keep happening
Yeah.
until they start. I especially this summer, it was always like, listen to Black women, let Black women lead, and
Now they
then
quiet.
and then
They quiet.
crickets. And
Oh.
so it's just like, when are we gonna be about what we're talking about? When are y'all
Right.
gonna actually put Black women first, as
Right.
we should? Because when Black women are liberated, everyone
You
is.
gotta speak your speech,
Yes.
as Nene Leakes said. But honestly, in my experience, it was more so people taking our ideas about what police-free schools look like and who already have access to the school district and negotiating that. Like, oh, well, why is it in the middle school? Just take away the middle school one and leave the high school.
Yeah.
So it's like, not only are they taking our ideas, but they were co-opting it. And individuals who've never really spoke on school resource officers or the issue of it were being asked for input.
Yeah.
And it was the workshop session was when it really opened up my eyes, when an individual came and it was like, it was talking about what's traumatizing, and it was like totally negating the impact police have on schools and making it more of a lack of not having more teachers of colors and stuff like that.
And that's never the solution.
And in a white supremacist system, it's not, because what we're trying to do is untangle the white supremacy.
Right.
So we're saying police in schools are assisting in the policing of Black and brown kids. What makes you think Black teachers aren't going to be policed themselves?
Exactly.
And so it was a lot of co-opting, a lot of gaslighting from the district side of it, working with them.
And even with the community that they engaged with and had getting their feedback from, like white families, as if their security and their safety of their white children who aren't even being subjected to the violence that they could be, that Black and brown students are in schools, and valuing their opinion versus weighing the pros and cons. If there are cons, that's what you need to address. Why are we even addressing pros of any of that? And so that was really frustrating too, like engaging in those conversations. I'm like, why? Yeah.
Or bypassing youth voice for like well-established nonprofits here in the area who are fairly new or haven't been here that long, and it was amazing that they were including them in the process, but they were bypassing us. And no one seemed to care what were happening to young Black and brown students and young Black and brown adults who were actively protesting it.
Yeah. And who have very lived experiences in the system that we're talking about.
Who went to school here.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
It was, as you mentioned, I had to take some time off and do a lot of unpacking.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Well, now we're back. This is like, I feel like our therapy session where we get to talk about these things. So if you're interested in hearing more of like our experiences here in Mankato, or any questions that or topics that you want us to discuss, please email us at let's talk about it pod 20, right? At gmail.com.
20 always gets I was like looking at Wilson like, is it?
And we will talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, guys.